Welcome back. The G7, including the UK and US, is calling for humanitarian pauses in Gaza. Many other countries in the Middle East are demanding a full ceasefire. Israel has ruled out a ceasefire, while Hamas holds around 240 hostages who were kidnapped during the deadly terror attacks on October the 7th. It says there's already tactical pauses in its daily assaults on the Gaza Strip. Well, more than 10,500 people reportedly now being killed in Gaza, including over 4,000 children, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. On Sunday, the Pope made an urgent plea to stop the conflict, saying, "I pray to you to stop in the name of God, cease the fire." So with so much bloodshed, is it time for a ceasefire? Joining me now to discuss this, America's rabbi and best-selling author, Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, and welcome back to Young Turks creator and Democratic presidential challenger, Cenk Uygur. Well, welcome to both of you. Cenk, let me start with you. Many people are calling for a ceasefire. Queen Rania of Jordan, Angelina Jolie, Arab leaders, and so on. I presume you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they've murdered enough Palestinian civilians. And even Netanyahu, in an interview with ABC News, said, now that we're on the ground, we're finally pressuring Hamas on hostages. Oh, so the 7,000 bombs you dropped were totally useless and collective punishment, and your attempt to murder civilians on purpose as some sort of sick vengeance. So please stop the murders, ceasefire right now.
Rabbi Shmuley, your response?
Cenk is polling in the Democratic presidential primaries at 0%, nothing. He has a greater likelihood of being elected the new king of France. And don't interrupt me, please. And the reason is that the American people are decent. They understand that Cenk's anti-Semitism, which he has voiced on your show repeatedly, calling Jews genocidaires, and this is the eve of Kristallnacht, the 85th anniversary of the start of the Holocaust. He would deny the Jewish people the only dignity left to us, that we were victims of genocide, and he would say that we are the Nazis, we are the Gestapo, for simply wanting to defend ourselves against the brutality and the savagery of Hamas. Cenk, you'll have your turn. Just show some decency. If you're not going to show it to my people, show it to me and show it to the viewers of the show.
No one got around. There's no chance. There's no chance in hell that Cenk is ever going to become the nominee for president. No chance. I mean, again, he was not even born in this country, so his run for president is not even legal. We have to get to understand that. You know, I know he said there's ways around that, but no, there is not. I mean, again, it's pretty straightforward that you have to be, 35 years of age or older, and you have to be born in this country. I mean, again, if not, you can't run for president. There's no way that you can be president, but he thinks he can be. You know, the guy is totally delusional. He has, there's something wrong with that man. But the fact of the matter is, man, he's talking about Israel and Hamas, man, and saying that Israel is committing genocide because they're launching counterattacks against Hamas. No, they're no way. I mean, in no way are they committing genocide. And also, man, we truly have to understand, Hamas, man, they like to bomb their own stuff and kill their own people. And then they like to make it seem like Israel did that. You know, like with the hospital bombing the other week. I mean, again, I think it's pretty much settled that it wasn't Israel that did that. So, again, what they tried to do is they tried to make things look really, really bad. And then they tried to get the world to feel bad for them and to go against Israel. That's what their game is. That's what they're trying to do. And we have to recognize that. But, you know, people like G-Man, I mean, they're never going to understand that. Well, the fact is, man, he does not want to understand that. He does not want to look at what happened. I mean, again, just over a month ago, Israel was attacked. Their southern border was breached. You know, women, children, and they literally targeted civilians. That's what they did. Now, I'm not trying to get all in the middle of everything and try to say that I know everything. I don't. But we have to understand they literally targeted civilians. They went after women and children. And, you know, and we're supposed to sit there and listen to somebody like Cenk just say a bunch of bullshit.
The name of whose podcast is Young Turks, who perpetrated the Armenian genocide. The Young Turks is like calling your podcast the Young Nazis, the Young Gestapo. They killed 1.5 to 2 million Armenians between 1915 and 1918. The Armenian community has begged Cenk to change the name of his show. For the first half of his life, he was a complete Armenian genocide denier. Then he changed. Now he is a Holocaust denier because he is saying that the Jews are engaged in a genocide of the Palestinians. Now, which nation? How can there be 1.8 million Muslim Arab citizens?
Rabbi Shrumi, I'm going to go to Cenk. You said some very strong things about Cenk. You can now respond, Cenk.
Yeah, you should never have this guy on air. Everything he said is a lie. I don't deny the Holocaust. That's insanity. And in terms of the Armenian genocide, there is a powerful analogy there. Why was it a genocide? And yes, it was a genocide. Why? Because they moved and displaced so many people and killed civilians on the way. What is Israel doing? Moving and displacing millions of people and killing innocent civilians. It is the exact definition of a genocide. So I think the Jewish people are an amazing people, and their culture is beautiful, and I don't tolerate any anti-Semitism. But I think that the occupation is decaying the moral core of Israel. How long are you going to oppress these people?
But Cenk,
and I know this guy, all he wants to do is an ad hominem attack. He's a liar. And you could tell exactly what kind of indecent human being he is. But the main reason he's doing it is to avoid the topic. When are you going to stop murdering Palestinians and cheerleading it?
Okay.
If you're talking about genocide, you're the one right now doing the genocide.
May I respond?
Yes.
Go ahead, more lies. Go ahead.
I've spent my life debating people. Whenever someone starts using personal names and screaming like a lunatic, they're losing the debate. Let me remain factual.
You're the one who made up things.
The Palestinians were offered a state in 1936 in the Peel Commission. They rejected it. They were offered a state in 1947, the UN Partition Plan. They rejected it. They were offered a state in 1967 after Israel conquered Judea and Samaria and the West Bank. They rejected it. They were offered a state in 2000, Yasser Arafat, Ehud Barak. They rejected it. They were offered a state with Ehud Olmert, 2008. They rejected it. Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza in 2005, and they did not create a state. In fact, where were you, Cenk, when you say that you care about Palestinian children, when Hamas stole the highest rate of per capita international foreign aid, larger than the Marshall Plan, from Palestinian children, did not build schools for them, did not build hospitals, took all the money to buy bombs and to build a network of tunnels, which is larger than the New York subway system. Where were you then? Why did you only come up now? In fact, when Bashar al-Assad killed 600,000 children, Arab children, when he gassed them with mustard gas, my organization took out full-page New York Times ads to protect them from sarin gas. Where were you then? You don't care about Arab children. You are a Jew hater, defined as someone who only wants to lie and say that the Jews are genocidaires. And don't try to cancel me and say that I shouldn't be on. You're not a producer of this show. Because you are ignorant of the facts and ignorant of the history does not mean that you can cancel my voice.
The thing is, man, he's right. He's 100% right. The rabbi is correct on this. The fact of the matter is, man, I'm not saying that Israel was always fair when they offered, deals and everything. I'm not saying everything was always the best, but we have truly got to understand he's telling the truth. I mean, yes, he is telling the truth on this. But, I mean, again, Cenk would understand that if you understood a little bit of the history behind it. But again, educate yourself to at least some degree. If he would have, he could have, maybe combated that somewhat, had a little bit of debate with it instead of just yelling and screaming that, you're a bigot and I don't like you and whatever else is said. Man, the guy is literally unhinged. And he's really not too well read when it comes to the stuff. He's not. I mean, again, he talks well. He has a pretty big network, but the guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. He truly does not. And he definitely has one point of view, and that's what he's going with. And, the rabbi is bringing up some really good points. Like, hey, look, man, back in 2005, where were you? Where were you when this happened? Where were you when, these kids were being killed? Where were you? Because, again, the fact of the matter is you don't care about them. You truly don't. All you care about is when Israel is involved.
So first of all, this guy is a full-blown bigot. He's one of the most racist people I have ever seen, does not value Palestinian lives at all. And everything he said about me is 100% untrue. I was vicious in my criticism of Bashar al-Assad. I have criticized Hamas over and over again, and I think what they did in the attack against Israel was reprehensible. But for God's sake, how long are you going to occupy these people? For me, the idea of Israelis and Palestinians or Muslims or Jews being different is absurd. Those are just stupid labels that we put on people. They're all human beings. I value the Israeli life just as much as I value the Palestinian life. We're all human. Stop using these nonsense labels
Cenk, let me ask you a
kill
question.
each other.
Cenk,
and all this guy wants to do is more murder of Palestinians.
Cenk, let me ask
when
you.
are you going to let them go?
Cenk, let me ask you a question. You mentioned genocide there. What Hamas is actually in its charter dedicated to doing is the purest personification of genocide. Well, it is. They want to see the eradication of Israel, and they proved on October the 7th they will kill as many Jews as they can possibly get their hands on. So that is pure genocide. What Israel is doing in return, I don't think meets the category of genocide. Right, because they don't want to get rid of every Palestinian. They don't want to kill every Palestinian.
No,
they want to kill every Hamas terrorist. Now, there are legitimate question marks about how they're going about this and about the civilian casualties. But there is a moral distinction between what Hamas is dedicated to doing and what Israel is dedicated to doing, isn't there?
No. First of all, Hamas is a bunch of idiots. They should take that stuff out of their charter. All it does is hurt the Palestinian cause.
I agree.
There's no call for it. It's dumb and it's immoral. But Hamas claims that they would like to do these things, and from time to time they do these attacks that are horrible and they should never do. But Israel actually kills Palestinians, actually occupies Palestine, actually denies the Palestinians a state. So there's this absurd talk of like, oh, if Hamas was super powerful, they might deny Israel its existence. Except Israel does exist. And the Palestinian state does not exist because Israel is blocking their state. So stop using, and I'm not saying to you, Piers, but this propaganda, hold on.
You know, Cenk, you and I are almost the same age, and I'm actually quite worried for how upset you get on TV. You got to protect your health. You're just kind of losing it. Now, calm down.
Because I'm upset that you keep advocating
when
for
you
the
keep
murder
on
of
saying,
civilians.
Cenk, you have
like
to stop yelling. You have to stop screaming, and you need to know the facts. The Palestinians were offered a state 7 times, and they rejected it 7 times. Bill Clinton told Yasser Arafat in 2000, you have made me a failure as president because Israel was giving you 97% of Judea and Samaria and the old city of Jerusalem. And Ehud Barak even offered the Temple Mount, the holiest site in Judaism, and the Palestinians rejected it. You simply don't know the history. Read a book. In fact, read a Wikipedia article before you get on TV. Number 2, you know, you made a very good point before, Piers, that Winston Churchill is the greatest British statesman and hero of the 20th century. Let's remember, when Churchill was faced with a genocidal threat of the Nazis, you know what he did, which Israel would never consider doing? He laid waste to 70% of Dresden, Essen, Cologne, Berlin. He eviscerated Germany and turned it into a parking lot, murdering about 6 million German civilians. Israel has never even considered doing 1,000th of that. And FDR acquiesced to it, and he's considered our greatest president of the 20th century. And then Harry Truman dropped 2 atomic bombs on Nagasaki, Hiroshima. So and Israel has nuclear weapons, has never considered doing that. Israel opened up
they've
a
actually,
humanitarian
let me come at you,
begging
Rabbi,
I have one question.
I want to come back to you on 2 points.
Simple question. Cenk,
No,
Will
no,
you
no.
at
I
least
want
be
to ask you a
consistent
question,
and
Rabbi.
call Winston Churchill a war criminal on this show today?
Number one, guys, man, the rabbi's right. I mean, he is. He's truly right. I mean, again, he needs to educate himself to some degree before he gets on international TV and talks about something that he knows nothing about. I mean, again, read something, read a book, read a Wikipedia article, do something. I mean, again, I've got a little podcast on YouTube, and, you know, I look stuff up and I read stuff and I watch stuff before I talk about stuff because I want to make sure that I understand what I'm talking about. But, I mean, kind of like Piers said, man, the people of Israel, they were attacked. And Hamas, they came across the southern border, they attacked them. They were trying to kill as many civilians as they could. Man, as many women and children as they could. They were beheading people. They were doing whatever. It was brutal. And, you know, that's genocide. That is genocidal. You know, but launching counterattacks against people, against a group that attacked you, that attacked your people. You know, that's not genocide. That's self-defense. We have truly got to understand that. I mean, again, that's something that they owe their people. A bunch of their people were killed. They owe it to them to launch counterattacks against that people, against Hamas, man. They owe it to them. But, you know, they also, man, they have to show them that, you know, hey, look, man, that's not going to happen again. And if we had to, we'll wipe you off the face of the map. We will. You know, again, I have no problem with that. We have to think about that for a minute, man. If somebody comes into your country, attacks you, we have to understand that, you know, the people need to attack them back. They need to launch a counterattack. They have to let them know, hey, look, we're going to be peaceful. But if you come into our country and you attack us, we're going to hit you 100 times harder. You know, so again, we truly get to recognize, man, what Israel is doing is not genocide. At least in my opinion, in no way. I'm not saying everything is done right. Not at all, man. But we have to understand none of this will be going on right now. If a month ago, Hamas, man, didn't go into Israel and start killing and beheading people and raping people and doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. We have truly got to understand that. And again, I'm not saying that everything that Israel has done is okay. I'm not saying everything they've done over the years is great. But we have truly got to understand. I mean, I don't know what else they could do in this situation. When you talk about, you know, again, like the rabbi said, when you talk about genocide, you know, you had Truman that dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan at the end of World War II in order to end World War II, and it was effective. That's what they did. But you know, again, we truly have got to understand what else could have been done. And, you know, I mean, people say whatever they want to say. They say I'm wrong or whatever. But, I mean, truly, I look at that and say, hey, that's what had to be done. That's what had to be done. And again, they attacked us first. Anyways, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a